Go ahead and close your eyes, please. I'm going for it today. Oh, I say that every day. We'll see. And rest your awareness right behind your eyes, please. Right in the center of your imagination. Think of your head as your imagination tool. Most of us learned how to work our way out of our imaginations, only to find that spiritually, the imagination is where it's at. So say hello to your imagination, please, in the center of your head. Your ability to imagine your life. Probably one of the most powerful aspects in this third dimensional creation reality that we're playing in. And once again, everyone say hello to your amusement, noticing if yesterday was a bit easier, releasing seriousness and just being in more of an amused overview, being in awe of this grand adventure that we're on. Notice if it was a little bit easier to stay detached from all of the drama, all of the emotional and mental drama that we have happening in our lives. It's really important to remember, as you're behind your eyes in the center of your head, go ahead and put a grounding cord on, please. Present time, fresh, new grounding cord. Wrapped around your hips, wrapped around your sacrum. Your first chakra is connected into it. It's like a vacuum. Make your grounding cord like a vacuum. There's a pressure, a sucking from the earth, pulling on your body, a gravitational pull. You can imagine putting your grounding cord on, finding the on switch to your vacuum and turn it on so that the hose connecting your body to the center of the earth starts working, starts pulling you, pulling your body, pulling anything you're ready to let go of. Any growth period that you've been hanging out in. Some of you have been in pretty substantial growth periods, especially this past week. Say hello to your growth period, please. The transformation that is happening on a soul level to you, so that your body is learning how to process and integrate. That is a growth period. Healing, transformation, growth happens in a moment, and then it takes our body's time to integrate the shifts. So just letting go of anything that you're ready to release out of your aura. Make sure your aura is plugged in around your body, nice and tight, about 2 feet around is usually a nice distance. When you're in a growth period, your aura gets very expanded because you're releasing a lot of energy. So you might need to bring your aura in, or if you go into fear Your aura might be suction cupped to your body, and you might need to pull it out a little bit. So do you need a little bit more space, or have you been in overwhelm because you're releasing and you're expanded so far? Find that nice medium, that happy medium position of your aura, please, and plug it into your grounding cord. Make sure your aura is nice and sealed. Scan through with your mind's eye. Look around at the bottom of it. Make sure it's smoothed out. Make sure it goes below your feet. Most people carry a lot of unconscious debris in the lower half of the aura. Just taking a breath, noticing your vacuum suction cup grounding cord. It's hosing out your aura. Just imagine it hosing out your aura. That all of the stresses or efforts or considerations that you've been holding are just getting released. And that today you can come into present time balance. Just be aware of your aura around your shoulders, around your head, and be aware of all of those old, moldy, oldie patterns that we've been releasing and working on that are kind of hanging out in your aura mentally around your head. Ways that you thought when you were a kid or a long time ago that have seemed to creep back in. Those are probably mental patterns hanging out in the upper part of your aura. So go ahead and just vacuum out the upper part of your aura, all of your mental constructs, all of your thoughts. What would it be like if you just vacuumed out all your thoughts? We think our thoughts are so important. The mental body is just one body. We can train it to be a good bridge and to align with spirit. But it's just one of our bodies. Letting your aura clean out all of the mental debris. Letting your aura release in front of your body. Letting go of any of your thoughts of the future. And then cleaning out, letting go, letting your aura release behind you. Smoothing out your auric field, your energetic field around the back of your body, please. The aura is where our growth periods hang out for way too long. Your chakra, your physical body might have spit something out, but then you keep reverberating it because it's hanging out in your aura. You keep walking around in the same thought pattern because it's hanging out in your aura. You want to really, every once in a while, ground your aura out really well. Look, make sure it's below your feet, behind you. Focusing on the bottom half of your aura. In the back. Noticing what color is hanging out in the back of your body. We've spent a lot of time in this 30 days updating a lot of family agreements, a lot of past energies, and that will affect the back side of your body, your spinal column, your nervous system, the back of your aura, your past. Noticing if you've been rewriting your past, how you feel, how you think about your past. Has it been shifting? Are you finding more peace in your past? And just keep letting the grounding cord have that vacuum effect on the back of your aura, please. As your aura releases, your body relaxes. Your body can settle even more. It's always interesting to notice, especially if you're on the West Coast and you just woke up and got on the call. So interesting to notice as you release energy, does your body relax even more? If you just got up, you'd think you would be the most relaxed. But so many of us go to sleep with patterns of tension running through our bodies. Patterns of stress running through our bodies. It's a good idea to just take 5 minutes and sit on the edge of your bed and ground and let go. It's a good idea to do that before you're absolutely exhausted, actually. And just reset your aura, reset your body before you go to sleep. Oftentimes, if we try to ground and run our energy right before we hop into bed, we're so tired that we can't. When our bodies are too tired, we're not very efficient at moving energy. That's why if you can't shift something in your life, if you've been trying and creating 100 roses and destroying 100 roses and nothing's working, and all of the tools that you keep trying, nothing's working, it's probably because your body's too tired to really move any energy, and you're in way too much effort. So when you can't shift something, go to bed. Bed is such a huge tool. So just validate your field, validate your aura above your head, below your feet, and around every side of your body, please. Be right behind your eyes in the center of your head. Notice if you moved around your aura. Notice if you went down and looked at the lower part of your aura. Notice if you were scanning. Or notice if you stayed in the center of your head and viewed it from that angle. Most of you are very mobile, are getting more and more mobile, and are moving around your space consciously. There's no right or wrong. It's just being aware. You need to know if you're a very mobile spirit. If you bebop, if you're kind of like if you just shoot out here and there and everywhere, it's really important to have a regular practice of coming back to the center of your head. Because sometimes we'll go out so far and we'll forget, and then we'll lose ourselves. So validate being right in the center of your imagination, the center of your head, please. Good. Validate your grounding cord. Validate your connection to Source. Please say hello to Source. Using a gold beam of light from somewhere way out there. And say hello to Source. You can ask Source for a blessing today. Ask Source for a little bit of help, a little bit of guidance, a little bit of extra juice. Set your intention for the day, please. Let Source know what you're up to. If there's something specific you're up to. If there's something that's been really percolating in your awareness. You'd just like a little bit of extra help around. A little bit of extra information around. Put it between you and Source. asking yourself, what is your next step? You're about to complete a 30-day journey. Asking yourself, what is your next step? What would be in natural alignment with where you are at in present time? So notice if you popped out into the future when I asked you what your next step was. It's important to stay in present time when creating your next step. So just noticing what would be a natural extension of your present time experience so that you're not fragmenting. Oh, well, in the future I want to do this, and it's this big mental head trip. Your next step should always be flowing from your present time space, not flung out there into the future. Extensions of present time. And your next step might only be for the next week to come. Your next step, some of you might be able to, doesn't look like it really, but some people might try to set the next month. That seems a little bit too far even. How can you stay grounded? What are you going to do to be connecting in with yourself every single day? I wish I was, could keep going. Many of you have asked. Can we just do a 1-hour meditation every single day for the whole year? Oh. So it's up to you. Do you have faith in yourself? Do you have faith that you can commit to something in yourself? Community is a really good idea. Doing it with other people is a really good idea. So noticing if you have anything in your immediate community that you can use as a tool to connect into your higher self, to connect into your body, to connect into your internal information. This way of working is a bit different. It's like I said yesterday. You are learning how to tap into your own information. And when you can do that, you have everything you need. So go ahead and start to bring up some nice, rich earth energy, please. We're going to still let the earth and cosmic energies run gently through your body. Call up nice earth consciousness from the bottoms of your feet. Noticing if your awareness of your legs has shifted. Notice if you're more in your legs. If your energy goes farther down, as you let the earth energy come up through your calves, through your knees. Saying hello to any competition that you have with yourself in your knees. The knees hold that competition energy. Competition energy can often look like I've got to do better. It can also look like value. What we place more value on. Let that earth energy flow through your knees, through your thighs, right into that first chakra, please. Saying hello to the first chakra this morning, saying hello to the base of your body, saying hello to those genitals. Waking them up, and letting the energy move out the back of your first chakra and down your grounding cord. And validating the earth running through the lower half of your body. And then say hello to the cosmic energy coming in through the top of your head, any color of cosmic energy that you would like. I want you to be aware of bringing in some new light in your cosmic energy. There are so many new creative vibrations coming through the ethers. There's so much new information coming through the ethers. There's new light coming in, descending in. So be aware of drawing in new light, a new shade of light. Everyone's light bulbs, the color of your light bulb is changing. Just be aware of new light coming in through your cosmic energy, right into the top of your head, please. Let that cosmic energy come right into the crown, the 7th chakra. Be aware of the 7th chakra opening and absorbing new light. Imagine, what would new light look like? New light is coming in. New opportunity, new awareness, new information, new possibility. And bring it down the back of your head, please, the back of your neck. Notice if it's easier to stay aware because we said hello to our auras. For most people it is. Because you flushed out your aura, you cleaned out the growth period from the beginning, it might be easier for you to stay awake. Just notice that. Notice if you feel more alert because we grounded your aura. And let that cosmic energy come down the back of your neck and branch off along both sides of your spine, bringing consciousness, bringing new light into your spinal column. I want everyone to notice if you have any spinal health, any ways to keep your spinal health aligned in your life. Spinal health is so important through yoga, through chiropractic, those are the 2 ways I know we use. It's so important to have your spine free. And you might want to look at that. If you're feeling rigid or stuck in your life, it's a good idea to move your spine, to find more spaciousness in the spine and the vertebrae. Really helps. Going to a good chiropractor every once in a while is a really good thing for your conscious awareness. Stretching your spine out physically is a really good thing for your conscious awareness. When your spine, when the energy is flowing through your spine, it's easier to stay connected and grounded into your own information and your own light. So just say hello to your spinal health. Say hello to your spine. How does it feel in your body? You can move your spine a bit. Is your heart kind of concave or your shoulders rolled in? You can move your neck, move your hips around a bit. Feel into your spine. Say hello to that spine. Let that cosmic energy flush all the way down your spine, opening it up. As it comes through your sacrum and into the back of that first chakra. One of the things that's so important for everyone, for all of us to stay really connected to, is simplifying our lives. Simplifying our relationships, simplifying our lives, simplifying our creative spaces, simplifying our emotional spaces, simplifying, cutting out any excess, cutting out any excess stresses. If there are situations, someone wrote me a really good email and asked about, how do I go back into the really stressful situations of my life and stay connected to myself? And the thing about, there's a couple different ways of looking at it. If you have the freedom of cutting it out, I would. If you have the freedom of simplifying, I would, but sometimes we don't. And sometimes you're going to lose your space. Sometimes you're going to get splattered. Sometimes you're going to forget. Sometimes someone will attack you energetically or emotionally. And it's not that we can always control those situations. When we can, it's important to try or to complete cycles of action so we don't have to spend as much time in high-stress situations or relationships. But if you can't, you have to prepare when you know you're going into a more energetically dense situation. So you ground yourself, you run your energy, you make sure you've eaten, you make sure you have good rest, and you go into those situations as a kind of like a practice warrior where you're practicing. You're saying hello to yourself. You're saying hello to the space. And there's a lot of people, though, that are in resistance to shifting. And some of you are really good at attracting those people that are in resistance to shifting. And if you spend a lot of time, or if there's a lot of your family members that are in resistance to change, or they throw a lot of negative energy your way, you might not ever be able to change that. And it's really important to know that it's okay to lose your space. It's okay to lose your space, especially when you can resource yourself. If you know you can lose, that's a part of freedom. Learning these tools, learning how to consciously connect with yourself, learning to be grounded in your own information, in your own wholeness, and in your own light, can be just another prison, can be another dogma if we're not flexible with it. As soon as we find our space, if we want to rigidly hold on to it, we will lose it for sure. Part of finding your space is knowing that when you lose it, you can find it again. It's not about always perfectly having it together. It's not about always perfectly being centered, being connected to your light, being connected to your body, and all of these things we've been practicing. This is an ideal state that we'd love to stay in, but it's not practical in our everyday lives. And so it's really important to be flexible. That, okay, I lost my space, no big deal, I can find it again. To not go into the fear and resistance that's coming your way, but to know, okay, I don't really know where I am, and wow, that was a really not very pleasant experience, and I need to go take care of myself now. You will lose your space. You will take on other people's energy. And then it's up to you to create the space in your own personal life, in your own inner sanctuary, in your home, that you can come back to and find yourself. So please don't get confused that it's not about never losing yourself. It's about having the certainty that no matter what happens in your life, no matter what you go through, you can always find yourself again. That you're never truly lost because you have tools to stay connected to yourself, to find yourself. I lose myself every single day, but I make it a practice to always come back. That's the difference. So please don't be rigid. Please don't beat yourself up that, oh, this day I didn't do very well this day. You will lose yourself all the time. You will forget yourself all the time. And then it's just about remembering. It's about having the connections, the relationships, the community, the support to help you remember. If you could do this on your own, you would be on the moon by yourself, hanging out. So, say hello to the back of your body again, please. So those would be what I would call spiritual perfect pictures. That now that I know, now that I'm connected, now that I feel really good, and because a lot of you have been telling me how great you feel now and how so much is opened for you. And there's a level of fear coming up as we complete the 30 days that you won't be able to maintain it. You won't be. So don't try to maintain it. Don't set yourself up for a perfect picture that, okay, now I need to stay like this. And if I can't stay like this, I've lost something or I haven't done it right. You've done it perfectly. This has been a beautiful journey. Validate the journey. It's been a great present time experience. And it's up to you to continue to create present time experiences that support you. So as much as you have to go into a battlefield every day at work or relate to your family that's in resistance and pain or whatever it is that you have to do, you need to be consciously creating spaces to balance those out. Whether it's meditations, whether it's healings, whether it's different community events, whether it's exercising. It's about balancing your life. It's not about living in a perfect state of wholeness all the time. Wholeness is everything. Wholeness is your ability to walk through hell and not be afraid. Wholeness is your ability to walk through heaven. Wholeness is being able to go everywhere. Freedom is experiencing everything. If you turn grounding and running your energy and staying connected to your wholeness into a perfect picture, you will suffer because you will beat yourself up because you think you're not doing it right. There's no right way to do this. Laugh when you lose yourself. So be aware of the base of your body. Be aware of that cosmic energy coming back down through your sacrum, flushing into that first chakra. A lot of this you've been given guides. If you know you're in emotional drama and resistance, you're probably in the base of your body. So always looking for the indicators of consciousness that we've been working on. And let the earth and cosmic blend flush together in that first chakra. Noticing if you've been starting to judge other people around you based on your spiritual connection that you've been gaining in yourself. Can you truly view the people that are you're perceiving to be in resistance and pain? Can you view their light? That's the work. Instead of judging them as being disconnected or unconscious or shut down, can you view them in their full light? When you can understand that Hitler is in heaven, you will have a level of freedom, we could say, freedom in your consciousness. That there is no good or bad, there is no right or wrong, there is no way to do this dance. Some days the dance is the dance of resistance and pain, and other days it's the dance of wholeness and light. It's all part of the dance. If you try to exclude one aspect of the dance, you'll be missing out on the wholeness of life. Opening up and receiving is opening up and receiving everything. Let the earth and cosmic blend come up from the first chakra, please. The front side of your body into your second chakra, 80% cosmic, 20% earth, into that second chakra. So everyone go ahead and out in front of you or out in front of the center of out in front of your head, create a nice big rose. And I want you to start to release any perfect pictures around your spiritual evolvement. I'm more spiritually connected and evolved now. A lot of times when those pictures are lit up, you'll really get ransacked. Because it's not that karma or something's trying to get you, it's that we live in a balancing act. This third dimensional reality is all about balance. So oftentimes when we experience a great amount of light and openness, when we go up, we have to come down. There has to be, the heart beat, the heart expands and contracts, expands and contracts. So noticing if you just have a lot of fear of the contraction, that you're kind of an addict to one side of the spectrum, to the light, to the feeling good. So much around being able to stay conscious and feeling good is to be able to stay present when you don't feel so good. When things contract in your life, it's just as important to remember that, oh, okay, this is a part of it as well. To not fight the pain. Pain, just because you have spiritual consciousness and awareness, you are still going to die. You are still going to experience emotional difficulty. It might get easier, but it might not. Having your wholeness, being connected to your freedom, is about not having resistance to anything that comes your way and being free of judgment around everything, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So be very careful when you judge someone as being less conscious. They might be your greatest teachers on the planet. They usually are. So let that rose start to pull out any of your spiritual perfect pictures. That now I've got to work really hard to stay in the center of my head and grounded and my energy running and keep it all together. Let it go. Letting all of that spiritual, all your spiritual perfect pictures. But for me to have a good day, I've got to be centered and grounded and aware and golden suns and light. And yes, those are all great tools when you can remember them. But what happens when you forget? Does your day go down the tubes? Doesn't need to. Letting all the spiritual perfect pictures go, especially around your crown. Good. Any judgment of yourself, any fear of losing what you have gained, the space in yourself that you have gained, the space that you've carved out in yourself over the last 30 days, you can never lose, is eternal. You might disconnect from it, but it is always there. Spiritual work that you do like this, it becomes a part of your eternal imprinting. That's why it's so important to do this. That yes, you'll have good days and bad days, but your spiritual imprinting is eternal. Once you've opened a greater awareness of your wholeness, of who you are in your core, that is always there. Life situations might mask it or might make it difficult to stay connected to it, but you have eternally gained space on the inside. So letting go of any fear that you're going to lose what you've gained. You really haven't gained anything because that space was here before the 30 days and it will be here after the 30 days. So you really haven't gained anything. You've just become more aware and connected to what has always been. And you will forget. When you don't resist forgetting, you don't have to get hit by a train to remember again. Good. Focus on that rose, letting all that fear come out, letting all those perfect pictures come out. Shoot that rose out into the center of the universe and destroy it. Let the earth and cosmic blend come up from the second chakra, please, to the third chakra, the solar plexus. Saying hello to your power center, please. Saying hello to where you distribute your life force at any given moment. Where you place preference in your day. Where you want your energy to be distributed in your day. Let the energy move up from your solar plexus to your heart, please, through your heart center, the universe of your heart, tuning into your heart, letting your heart expand. Noticing if a little bit of a spiritual reality check knocked your vibration down a little bit. If you got a little bit less enthusiastic, just say hello to that in yourself, like, oh, okay. It's still okay to really shine. It's still okay to walk around and choose to be as bright as you want to be. It's still okay to set your intention to be radiant and happy and full of love. But the important thing is to just not forget that you can't control the experiences around you. And trying to fixate on an eternal or a consistent state that doesn't change, you will fail. If you want to always be connected to your light, you will fail if you set that up as an expectation for yourself. The one thing about our spiritual evolution is that we will connect and we will disconnect. We will come and we will go. And it's still okay to set your space every day. I do every day. I still focus on my light every day. Just doesn't mean that you're not going to have another bad day. Or that you're not going to have to deal with a crusty situation or an awful experience or pain. Spiritual evolution is not an escape from third dimensional pain. Pain is pain. Who cares? Resistance is resistance. Curmudgeons are curmudgeons. All of that stuff still exists and has to exist because we live in a balanced third dimensional reality. It's an equation, a balancing equation. It's not the universe trying to do it to you when you're so happy and then something so wrong happens. It's not the universe trying to do it to you. It's the universe staying in balance. And if you can stay neutral and present, you can walk through heaven and hell just the same. A good day and a bad day, they stop. There's no difference between a good day and a bad day. You're still whole, and you're still going to be okay. Let the energy move up from your heart, through your shoulders, down your arms, out the palms of your hands. Letting all of the expectations of yourself go. You can create a rose out in front of you, just letting all those expectations of yourself and of your life go. This is clearing out your creation space even more. Letting go of all those expectations out of your creative space. Out of who it is you think you need to be. Good. Let the energy move up from your 4th chakra to your 5th chakra. It's just as important to be able to go into our shadows and stay present in our shadows. Stay present with our anger, with our rage, with our sadness and with our grief than it is to stay present with our wholeness and our light and our joy and our bliss. Can you have the parts of yourself that you don't like? Can you have the parts of yourself that you try to resist the most? Can you have that little child that seems continuously lost and confused about her life? Can you have that part of you, that raging little boy that wants to just control and destroy everything? Can you just have him? Can you have all of the different aspects of yourself? Can you have your sexual shadow? Can you have your fear and your pain? If you can't, if you're trying still to resist it or fix it or change it or heal it or make it go away, you are compartmentalizing and separating from pretty much the lower parts of your body. The lower parts of your body are where you experience more third-dimensional pain, emotional pain. So saying hello to these aspects of yourself that are still here, that are just as eternal as your light. Your shadow is just as eternal as your light is. Say hello to your shadow. It will creep up. For most of you, it's creeped up in these 30 days where all of a sudden, you got really high. You connected into a part of yourself, and then, boom, there's your shadow. They go, your light and your shadow walk together. Give your shadow space. Give your pain some space, please. Give the parts of you that that are in resistance some space. Say hello to that aspect of yourself that exists within your being. It will always exist. You are not going to spiritualize yourself out of it. You'll have more wisdom on how to relate with it. Absolutely, you're going to have more consciousness to relate with it. But it still exists. The part of you that likes to sabotage. Say hello to your shadow. What's your shadow? What's the kind of little shadowy aspect that's up for today? The little evil Knievel of you today. Maybe your shadow is lazy. Like, screw it, I don't want to do anything. Your shadow lazy? Is your shadow? What's your shadow? Get in touch with your shadow. Say hello to that shadow aspect today. being beautiful and perfect and blissful and all light and flowers and sweet and boring. You would get bored. I tell people that are addicted to the light to go out and find some darkness, to go lose your space a little bit. Saying hello to that shadow, noticing that aspect of you that's lurking around the corners, that's always kind of itching at you a little bit. And give that part space too. Notice where it exists in your body. Notice if it's connected to a certain chakra. You can create a bubble out in front of you, be behind your eyes in the center of your head. See that bubble out in front of you and say hello to your shadow in that bubble. Okay, this is a space for me to look at my shadow. Look at it. Learning to work with your consciousness, your shadow isn't out of control. It's not bigger than your light. For most of us that work on a consciousness on spiritual levels, our shadows are smaller than our lights, but it's still, our shadows still exist. You can put up a bubble for your light right next to your shadow. Take a look. Notice how, if you have any resistance in their shadow bubble. So important to be able to, when you need to move some anger, to beat the shit out of a pillow. Or to let that energy move all the way through. To not try to repress any part of you that's surfacing. Having a conscious relationship with your shadow is just as, if not more important than having a conscious relationship with your light. So put a grounding cord on your shadow bubble, please. Put a grounding cord on your light. It's really important to know how you fall into your unconscious shadow. What are the triggers when you just fall into unconscious pain? What triggers your shadow to arise? You can look back through the 30 days and notice where you had a little bit of a hard time. What light, what experience of your light brought your shadow out as well? Was it when we talked about control? Was it when we were really expanding our heart? Then did you have an experience of pain or shadow or contraction? It's really important to follow the patterns and know what evokes your shadow. We've been learning about how to evoke our light and what evokes our light. What evokes your shadow? Keep your shadow very close. Send a hello to your shadow. From the center of your head, send a hello right into the center of your shadow. Shadow can make messes. Shadow can actually be very fun. The shadow can be devious. When you can consciously step into your shadow and embody it a little bit, it's powerful. When you can consciously choose to go there and relate with it, it can give you another expression of your life force. But when it's unconscious, and when you have a tremendous amount of resistance to it, you will build up a wall, separate from it, and try to disregard it. Creation and destruction go hand in hand. You have to have mastery of both. So noticing if you need to be relating with your shadow a bit more, if you've turned your spiritual practice into dogma. A lot of times I become very irreverent or disregarding when people are in too much light, because I tend to be a natural balancing act. If someone's in too much pain, I will go into light. If someone's in too much light, I will bring out more pain. I will become a trickster. I will become irreverent. I will do whatever needs to be done to find balance. I do it unconsciously. I'm a balancer. It's part of who I am. So notice that. Notice how you are around really spiritual people. Quote, spiritual people. People addicted to the light. And then notice how you are around people that are really in shadow and pain. Can you have both? Send a hello into your shadow bubble, please, and start to ground out any resistance. Pick a color for your resistance to your shadow. And name your shadow. What aspect of your shadow are you aware of? Is it the part of you that's emotionally addicted to suffering? Is your shadow addicted to suffering? That, yeah, this is all nice and dandy, but I just need to go back to really validating how much pain there is in my life. Name your shadow and then start to release the resistance around it. Perfection is an illusion. Balance is much closer to reality. Perfection is a bit off. You will never have a perfect state, but you can have a balanced state. Create a grounding cord on your light bubble, please. Releasing any more perfect pictures. You judge yourself in relationship to other people because of your light. Is that your shadow? Is your shadow a spiritual shadow that, now I'm better. Now I have to change all these people. Now I have to show them the way because they can't see. Have you gained a spiritual ego? Spiritual egos will surely get pulverized by big trains. So just noticing your spiritual ego. Grounding any of your spiritual ego out. Noticing if this is hard for you. Noticing some of you are diminishing your light as you are coming into balance. It's funny to watch. You can still be bright. You can still have preference of being connected to your light. It's just how much space can you still have for the shadow. Be aware of your crown. Let your crown radiate at golden light. You can only see your shadow when your light is radiant. When your light is not turned on, you have no connection to your shadow at all. You cannot perceive your shadow when your light is not on. So radiate your light. And from radiating your light behind your eyes in the center of your head, send another hello out to your shadow. Can you start to bring your shadow into present time? Saying hello to present time in your shadow space, because there's a big difference between your shadow in present time and a conscious relationship to your shadow and the past, unconscious, out of control shadow that is a collective of probably your parents' pain. So I want you to ground your parents' energy, your dad. Notice if you have more of your dad's shadow or your mom's shadow that you're aware of. I absolutely go. My shadow is definitely much more connected in with my mother's energy. I replicated her emotional shadow. Did you replicate your father's shadow of control or power or depression, or did you replicate your mother's shadow of whatever? Keep noticing. Whose shadow did you kind of move towards a little bit more? And say hello to their energy and ground their energy out. Can I have an adult present time relationship to my own shadow? If you can, you could actually have fun with it. It can actually be a way to revitalize your energy. Step into your shadow, you often get a lot of energy back because you stop fighting, you stop resisting. This is grounding out any past energy. Say hello to that shadow bubble. Be behind your eyes in the center of your head and just releasing the past stories, your past resistances. Releasing your parents' fear of their shadows. If their shadows, if they let their shadows in, would they really just be very destructive? My father's shadow, when it came out, it could destroy a lot. So I bet he spent a lot of time resisting it and trying to pack it in. And then it just came out more and more. So just saying hello to present time. Present time, my shadow. Not my parents, not the past. My present time shadow. What does it look like? What do I want it to look like? Can you dress it up? My husband does he does a whole modality called shadow work, where they consciously choose the shadow that they want to step into, and then they have parties, shadow dance parties, where they step into different aspects of their shadow and bring them into their consciousness, where it's the sexual slut, or it's the guru. That's a big shadow. Or different. It's fun to play with your shadow when it's in present time and you can consciously relate to it. So letting all that past ground out, letting all your resistance ground out, letting all your perfect pictures go. Some of you are crushed that your shadow still has to exist. If you don't have your shadow, it can get really boring. The light, constantly staying in the light, can be really boring. If you do it long enough, you'll get an itch to go be bad or go be mean or go do something destructive. That's your shadow trying to come up. So if you can consciously say hello to your shadow regularly, it doesn't have to sabotage your light. It doesn't have to be out of balance. It can actually play in your life. When you have a conscious relationship to your present time shadow, you have permission to really go anywhere, to really go into all different aspects of creation, your sexual self, your survival, your primitive self, all the different dimensions. You can lose yourself and it's okay. You can let go of your light and it's still okay. You can experience pain, and it's still okay. So as you bring your shadow into present time, bring your relationship to your light into present time. Oh yeah, that's right. My light's got to make room for my shadow. Bring your light into present time so that your light can be in relationship to your shadow. Notice the relationship between these two bubbles, your shadow bubble and your light bubble. Create a rosette between the two of them and clean up any resistance. These two might be at odds with each other. Can you bring them into balance with each other, into harmony? Can you create a cord of communication between the two? The energy can start to move between the two, creating balance and equilibrium in your day, neutrality in your life. Real freedom, when you have access to your shadow and your light, that is authentic freedom. If you are stuck in an internal dogma, if you are stuck in a perpetual state of light, you will eventually destroy everything. You have to. Creation and destruction go hand in hand. So letting the two flow back and forth, letting your havingness of the light and the dark be present, giving yourself permission to thrash when you need to thrash. When you can do it consciously, it doesn't have to harm other people. When you have conscious relationship to your shadow, it doesn't have to harm other people. You can do it in a fun, creative way. You can take your kids out and go smash plates in the alley. You make it into a project. It's really healthy for children to see how to work with this more shadowy energy in a conscious, clean way, rather than it seeping out the sides of you and hurting them and people around you. So forgiving yourself of all of your shadow, forgiving your shadow for any harm done. As you forgive your shadow, it will come into present time more. And today's homework is to get into relationship with your shadow. Your shadow might be a devious child that just wants to hump everything around you. Sexuality is a big part of people's shadows. So today is a day to be consciously relating and exploring what your shadow looks like. And to relate from it. Give it lots of space and permission, and keep grounding it in the present time. You can let both of those bubbles go. You can give them to Source. You can put them in your heart, your shadow bubble and your light bubble. Create a golden sun above your head full of permission. You have total permission to have every spectrum of light in creation, from the darkest dark to the brightest bright. Be aware of that gold sun, nice and full of total freedom. Your freedom just expanded even more today. Pop that gold sun and start to bring in that golden energy through the top of your head, radiating golden light so that you can see your shadow today. Radiate your light to look at your shadow. Let it be fun. Come up with some personas of your shadow. If you were to embody your shadow in a safe way, what would it be like today? You can give it a name. And drop that gold sun down your spine, please. Really fill in your spine, your legs, your arms, all your organs, all your chakras. Radiate them at gold, 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 gold. Validate your wholeness. Validate your awareness. Validate your neutrality. Validate your ability to have everything. Pain and pleasure. Good. Validate your aura. Fill your aura in. Really take a moment. Focus your mind. Let your aura fill. Fill, 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 fill your aura. The top, the bottom, left, the right, the front, the back, above your head, below your feet. Really own your aura. Nice and clear and crisp auric field. And when you're ready, slowly bend over, touch your toes, open your eyes, stretch, and have a lovely day playing in your shadow, enlivening and bringing conscious awareness and relationship to your shadow today. Present time, new relationship to your shadow. If you have a lot of resistance to your shadow, it's because it's not in present time. It's probably also a lot of your parents' shadow. So just be aware of the difference. When you're resisting your shadow, it's probably not your energy in present time. Thank you very much. Have a lovely day. Hasta mañana.